Hey, you just made my day by selecting play. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Richard's Rant, and good morning. As you know, the morning is the best part of the day, and regardless of the time that you may be tuning in, that is always the energy that I wish to you on this and every edition of Richard's Rant. Today, like a previous recording, I am wondering if I needed to find a new source of content, not necessarily into the humility aspect and everyone is able to do it, but the purpose of this is really what stood out to me, not what is in the news. Uh, Thousand outlets for that one, and less and less is standing out, well, to me. At one point, would read three newspapers, and then I had enough content from one newspaper, and now I'm back up to three, and this is another one too often or too soon, whereby I am wondering if I could even do a 30 minutes. But let's see. Let's see how the thing goes, and maybe you can provide some suggestions as to content, because the only other avenue I'm seeing is to start to do my own research. And, well, that'll take some time. I'm not sure if I have the time to do it or where I would put it, unless I really stop reading the newspaper and replace it. Hit me up with the comments. Let me know. Or maybe I'm just overreacting, but I doubt. I usually have good instincts about these things, and it seems that from now until the foreseeable future, the news is going to be the exact same information repeated without much input as to things that I am now interested in finding out, like if the banks are actually deferring everything pertaining to the loan, because I'm 99% sure that they are not, and what are the real social situations going on with people, and maybe some community outlook, that kind of thing. And of course, my favorite is that how did we find ourselves in a society where penny wise is essential, but school is not, where Witco is not essential, but printing a newspaper is. And in the same way that we could do online school, you can do the online newspaper, but it's essential. Just interesting. Getting to work on the radio to scream, "I'm going to pick up commission," is essential, but not education. Just interesting. And of course, those are the stories that I want. And some of them, would be unrealistic because the newspaper, as impartial as they are, they're not going to report on their own shit because they are, maybe they're representative of society and not the best of us, but either the average or the worst. But in the same vein as to also looking for alternative sources, I'm actually going to start this one with the socials, because what came to me on my phone when I was minding my own business was an entire rant from a Tobago Tanty. And TT had me enthralled for 30 minutes. It is unusual for me to watch these things for so long. Um, Full disclosure, before this, I didn't listen to podcasts at all. And if you go back to the earlier ones, you would remember that I didn't even used to listen to mine because I couldn't stand the sound of my voice. Now I like it. Thanks to you, a little bit narcissistic, and I appreciate it. Thanks for giving me that little oomph. You'd think that when Beyonce cleaning, she just throw on, a Destiny's Child record. Wait, sorry, I start off bad. I don't think Beyonce does clean or drive. What you just do when you listening to music? That she might do. All right, when she relaxing by the pool, we might have to be in a pool party or something. But when she relaxing by her pool doing that whole thing, I wonder if like she's listening to her own music. You feel so? Or like these people that are sing these sexy songs. You think when they having sex, you think they just listen to. I wonder if like Trinidad artists just spawn their music when they fucking, like call me horse when I inside, like if, huh? Anyway, coming back to it. So Tanty Real had me. Tanty talk about she start off nice and normal, calm, cool, and collected, right? But you see what happened is that her son, aka Rowley, rubbed her the wrong way. When he told her that if she don't take the vaccine, she'll be a threat. Tanty none that shit. Tanty's a big hardback woman, and nobody going and tell her what she could or cannot do. She didn't know where Rowley came from, but she wanted to send him back in that 30-minute situation. She really wanted to send him back. And what was fascinating to me is that the lack of what's the word, correctness is not necessarily accurate information, but or formal education. I can't find the adjective, but okay. Like one of the things she said is that the Saturday broadcast they spoil her Saturday. She didn't listen to it. This is the last one. Personally, I don't believe her. I think she now start to want to not listen to it, and she going to continue listening to it for a little while longer in hopes not to get upset. And she said that every week they come in with this graph and all kind of giraffe and there's no Australia which part it had a giraffe. I am not sure, like only because I refuse to Google to 100%, but I really don't think that giraffes live in Australia. I don't think that's one. They have some really cool animals like kangaroos and shit, but I don't think giraffes is one of them. So information like that, wouldn't be accurate, but it didn't necessarily take away from the point that she was making, which is simply that not everybody understands the presentation that you're presenting, which also makes me, or it also leads into, I should say, additional viewpoints, which is that you ought to know your audience, right? And she is correct. I don't know if she went as far as to think that, is their responsibility. Like, in other words, I don't know if she realized that she is entitled for them to have to explain things to her, to meet her on her level. I don't know if she made that connection, but the fact remains that not everybody gets the presentation and it really should be modified. I also liked that she was able to say positive things, but kind of like in a negative way. I really liked that because she basically called the DMO an ass, but she didn't opt to use that language like I do, and she didn't cast aspersions against his character or integrity as a human. What she did say, however, is that it seems to me like you're a nice boy. I'm 99% sure she said boy and not man. And but it seems like the people that you're surrounding yourself with are leading you astray. And I telling you, I was rolling Because Tans, this is not like your grandchild. You're talking about what's the company that you keep. This is bad work. But I just love the way that she put it. And then apart from that, she spoke about all everybody that wants to be a diehard PNM and don't let the Ballisier Juice choke you. And I never hear Ballisier Juice before. In all my years ignoring the news and being forced to absorb it, I've never heard Ballisier Juice. As a matter of fact, I think that's what this rant is going to be called. Ballisier Juice. The woman went on to explain you that the Ballisier Juice choke you and what to do and what not to do. And you know, if it is you had to wear the red on your chest, and it's like, wow. I really loved every moment of it. Not gonna lie, I loved every moment of it. What stood out now is she made some key points, which is that she spoke about how the government seems to lack empathy or common sense because there are people that are hungry, there are people that are starving, and while you thinking about COVID, they literally at the point where they're thinking about their next meal. There are children at home, and children at home, like something else that she said. What? Well, I wish I could remember it verbatim, but in Nafi have, she's a Tibetanian, so you know they have a little kind of Jamaicanish accent, but not quite as this one. Um, what? In Nafi have not that yam as much as a picnic when at home. Some kind of thing like that. And I telling you, again, I wasn't laughing at the woman. I was thoroughly enjoying her take on things and her bravery and being way out of her age group to be on Facebook Live. I enjoyed all of that. I really enjoyed all of that. So, and she's right. I believe I even said those exact words that there's no school feeding and all of that going on now. And with these children being home, they'll be eating more. And even if you have somebody babysitting them, they're going to be eating from you. And nobody's taking these things into consideration. We have reached a point where there are shortages in the grocery. Nobody's talking about that either. There are literal empty shelves in the grocery, which is not which is understandable when you factor in that various manufacturers rent shelves in the grocery. Like that is their shelf so that they could do their promotion and the little OBA to get you to buy the products. That is their shelf. So if they have no product, the grocery not really going to fill it because they shouldn't, because they're literally paying for that shelf. So is and yeah, it's interesting to see what is going on. Um, it is different from grocery to grocery. I do not know if it is like maybe this grocery managed to put in an order and this one didn't, or straight up favoritism, or this one had stocks and that one didn't. But the bottom line is there's some real social stuff that is starting to happen. And she also raised other points that I'd never heard before, including that the police is driving around and stopping you from doing construction on your own home. That I did not know, but the police have been playing up in their ass for quite some time. So I just believe Tanty wholesale. Apparently, as we know, we have started the rainy season. It's promising to be a very wet one. Like every year now is going to be the wettest. So maybe it's global warming, maybe it's just headlines. But for people doing those little rat repairs on their home to get through the next rainstorm or even the season, the police stopping them. Now, at this point in time, hardwares are closed for what I don't know, but they are. And as such, even if you doing whatever you're doing for your own self, that's an issue. And as such, she's saying, you know, why it is people had to be mopping when they could just fix the roof. Exactly what difference that making for COVID. And you know, she's right. She also spoke about freedom of choice. She spoke about a democracy, And I was like, damn, Tans, just get him. And the only time that it went off the rail is because somebody tell her she looking dirty, go and bathe. And it went completely off the rails then, but I was even more enthralled with Tanty. Tanty went on to explain that she had three bathrooms, she could bathe in all, and she could bathe where she want. That if it is you find she looking dirty, come and bathe she. Then she tell a person about how what going on is the Ballisier juice in the system making them behave stupid. And then she spoke about how it is a poor excuse for a human being because she's talking about hungry children, and the best thing that that person could come up with is that she needs a bed. Then she went on to remind the person that they don't have to be on her live, and she never invited them. And that went on for 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes. Yeah, it really upset Tans went, and what fascinated me was no obscene language. Not that I gonna make a change here, though, no, but no obscene language, and she didn't actually speak ill of the person, and that is an innate character feature of a person that even in their wildest moments, that's the quality of or the caliber of the person. So that was really Tans impressed me. Tans impressed me. And the last point that she made is that apparently there are no other diseases except COVID right now. So if it is your go Scarborough for your finger hurting you, it's COVID. If you stump your toe, it's COVID. And when people die, regardless of what they die of, it's COVID, which is telling me that she has no faith in the system at all, and she has lost confidence in all of that. And I have a feeling that she's not the only one because in doing my errands, I deliberately changed around my life because I can't start a revolution or slap anybody, nor did I want to because I believed or hoped that my opinions on the situation would be wrong. So, as such, I was complying with that hope to have to do an apology rant, but it doesn't seem to be coming. So, I moved from making groceries monthly to making groceries weekly, just for an opportunity to leave the house. And in my weekly errand, which would have been 24 hours before doing this recording, the rhetoric changed. Um, Taxi drivers are usually like, where's your mask kind of thing. And if not that, they usually just ignore it because that all the time I wear mine because it's me. And or the passengers would have an issue. When this COVID started, wait, this going on for 2 years? No, this can't be going on for 2 years. How much carnivals did we miss? Only one. But it started after carnival that year. This going on for 2 years? Because if it was after carnival, no, we didn't have a, no, we didn't have a, it was, I have to check to see when this should start. This can't be going on for 2 years. We did not have a Christmas and a New Year's with COVID. But we had a carnival, and then after that carnival, but we in April, we had Christmas with COVID. And if we did, why can't I remember that at all? I think we did. But we probably was not on lockdown and stuff and the borders were closed. We did have our Christmas. This shit going on for more than a year. This is almost 2 years of our lives. Wow. What? This is going on too long. How this going on so long? Okay. Sorry, I had a moment there. I really didn't realize it was so long. This is impressive. This is amazing. But I think that Christmas was normal. I think the borders were just closed and it wasn't a lockdown or anything. That's why I didn't naturally marry the two. But yeah, okay. Anyway, poof. So, all right. Whew, I can't even remember the original point because I just really, this really has been going on way too long. All right, I remember the point now. So, back when we started this almost 2 years ago, I remember that I tried to go to a taxi, but I was sweaty. Wasn't sweaty like I had just leave home, but I sweat too much. So, in that small walk to the taxi, I was already moist. I had a sexy glisten going on, like a kind of glazed pastry. And this little bitch in the car, I am not Tanty. Ah, yes, I find she was a bitch. So this little bitch in the car, driver, who are you picking up? He's 30 and the COVID. And I was like, what the And the driver actually listened to the bitch. And, yeah. Now it has reached a point where they're just in business. And it has further gone on to be anti-COVID. This driver again was talking about how dare Rowley said that he have to take the vaccine. He brought religion into it and started talking about the new world order and being forced to take it, otherwise you wouldn't be able to do business or be employed or operate or travel, which actually is written in the Bible, but it says it's the mark of the beast, and I really hoping it's not the vaccine because I'll take it for that reason. But as a last resort. First, I'll try to link with somebody who took it on their own volition and let them do business with me. If that don't work, then I'll take it. So it escalated all the way to this anger that CPAP workers' salary was cut by 33%. It was juxtaposed to the fact that the government has not taken a salary cut. How dare they? And that he will never vote again. So now he got passionate, like he did during the Ballisier Juice, and he's, upset now. So he'll never vote again, and that is why it is people just want to shoot people, and that poor people shouldn't shoot poor people. They should only shoot rich ones or rob rich ones, which I actually agree with because I've accepted the ideal is bullshit. That crime is wrong and all of that. Crime is a feature of a free market and a capitalist society. As long as you want that freedom, you want crime. That's the reality of it. In a society where resources are unequally distributed, people are going to find ways to attain what they want, including illegal means. There is that natural survival instinct. And as such, crime is a part of it, and it gives birth to other aspects of society, like security guards and security systems and a growing defense force, weapons contracts, weapons deals, prison systems, prison contracts, prison construction, all of this are features of a capitalist society. And I do believe that since the rich rob the poor, and that's how they become rich in a legal way, if it is the poor wants to do it illegally, they need to direct it at the rich. Especially since the rich has the power to accurately arrest the development of that feature of a, did I say accurately? Sorry, I meant effectively. Arrest the development of that feature of a capitalist society. By not being so licorice, they would then work on bridging the gap. They wouldn't look at making profits at any means by any cost on simply maximizing profits. It's not even that difficult, in my opinion, because You can't give away money because then you destabilize the economy and the money would lose value. Demand and supply works in all aspects of a free market economy. So if you have plenty money and not enough goods and services to match it, the money loses value the same way, right? So it's quite simple. You let your employees have a particular amount of the product, not purchase it at cost, but give it, just like how KFC gives you a free meal, them evil people. But it's the same way. You could also give them a profit sharing arrangement. These are not new concepts, but they're just licorice. So yeah, I'm fully well for robbing the rich. If you have to do crime, direct it that way. Um, this guy went on to talk about that if he has to, or if he's forced, or if he's put into a negative position, he will retaliate and he'll take people with him. So he would want something like a bomb, not a gun. And it's like, wow, damn thing escalating quickly. And this was just a 3 minute conversation in a taxi that I was listening to. Of course, only listening. I didn't want to input because then I would take over the conversation, and I wanted to listen and hear and learn. The same behavior to me seemed to continue as I did my shopping at Pennywise. Most of the employees were helpful for a change. One was clearly having a bad day, and well, I'm immune to it at this point. So I just said out loud, okay, I guess you are done with me. Hi, excuse you. Could you tell me where I can get the oil for your beard, that kind of thing? They said that it would be somewhere in the back here. All right, thanks. And I, moved on with my day. So they were helpful. The the last person I dealt with even took the basket from me without any scorn or, oh my God, I might get coronavirus about it. So there seems to be, and now that I've aptly realized it's 2 fucking years, obviously people getting acclimated. At the end of the day, a degree takes three. So kind of associates in pandemic by now. So people just desensitized. But the next part of it would be if forced, like the taxi driver, what will come next? I kind of want to see. I kind of want to see. Not gonna lie. And oh, I'm nearing the 28 mark, so it seemed that naturally I was able to find more content, but from socials because there was only one point and it was from the socials. The next one is there was a 40-minute voice note. I believe it was a recording from a program that consists of some pastors, and I don't know, I didn't recognize any of the voices. If they said their names, I wasn't paying attention because, well, I saw 40 minutes and ordinarily I'll just delete it, but as sensitive now, my podcasts are 30, can't be asking people to listen, and so I pay it on and it going through there. And then it started to make some sense. However, it also had nonsense in this one. Oh, coming back to Tanty, she said that God is the boss, God is the only dictator, God is the person that could cure us, and all of that. Now, religion for me is a farce in the sense that is also by your own definition that God made Corona. And clearly, if God killed his one and only son, he kind of wouldn't have any issues killing you. As displayed by the fact that he kind of ended the world with Noah and the ark. All of these stories, is the same God. So, and the story Sodom and Gomorrah, and have a lot of killing Old Testament shit. And although it don't really have it in the New Testament, it have all these ominous warnings, and even when God come back, it's not going to be gingerlies, trumpets, and plagues. So, he could really, this could just be what he does. So I'm not sure if that's where you should necessarily put your faith. Just saying. But I ain't mad at you. And the bottom line is, you were supposed to have that choice. So these pastors, of course, went on about God. They also said that their beloved Rowley is mistaken because they also refer to him as a good boy and maybe being misled and pleading with him to look at all of the information. But they said some other weird things, which is that the World Health Organization is corrupt and they are deliberately having a mandate to make money and to destabilize economies. As ludicrous as that sounds on the surface, the evidence kind of is in their favor. The only motive is what I'm having an issue in finding. What will they have to gain? Maybe if it was the International World Bank or China, but I'm not seeing any real gain for the WHO, unless, of course, they have shares in the vaccine. But I'm not aware of that on the surface. So that's the only thing that was lacking. But I think it's scary when things like that are starting to make sense. I think it's really scary. They also went on to talk about how the vaccines have a code in it. And the code is the mark of the beast. And the mark of the beast is the 666. And if you look at the barcodes, which is what they were introducing before, and all items have a barcode, and the barcode have 666. But they wanted it deeper entrenched inside of you, so now they're putting it inside of you. So they went off on that whole tangent. But they also spoke about all of the alternative means of medication, vaccines, and stuff that is working, and why they say this is working and how it did. And the presenter went on to say that he had COVID about 3 times already. I don't know where he put in his face because I saw it transmitted, but he said he had it 3 times already and he takes some zinc and wherever have you. So, I mean to say, it's just interesting where we are and where we are getting to now. Um, oh, okay, so I've crossed 30 minutes, but the rest of the information is so light. I think I'll continue. Worst case scenario, there's a part one and a part two, but I doubt. So let's proceed. Even in this, what is also causing the issues, as I see it, with COVID is lack of trust and lack of things that make sense and lack of empathy. Because here we have a doctor now also said that some of the people who got COVID, it's the ventilator in the ICU that killed them. So then why did they go for help? Because you all told them to. And he goes on to explain that the ventilator killed them because the um, mucus in the lungs or the way that the disease work where it attacks the lungs and compromises its um I don't want to say nature. There's a word that he used, but I can't remember. But basically, the lung becomes rigid, so it's not as malleable, spongy, flexible, and not lungy anymore, right? It kind of stony, it's not lungy. So when the ventilator goes on now, remember the ventilator just programs, so it's like take air, and you want to breathe, take it, and then you're dead because your lung can't expand, so it literally and you're dead. And I like shit, well, yeah, I'm not even gonna challenge that information. Kind of even heard something like that before, and even in nature, stuff like that does happen in a way. Not quite, but in a way, like with divers, when you come back up to the surface too quickly, something with your lungs and the oxygenating of the blood and some bubbles and pressure, and you're dead. So, things like this do happen in reality. And I'm like, but you all told them, I saying them because I never listened. And even when I got sick, as I said in a previous rant, I just keep my ass home and relax my skunt. So it's like, okay, so people went to, so how come all you didn't report this before? How come all you never reported this? Because this is not actually a official report. This is a doctor's, uh, I would say, confession at this point. And it's all of these because people are stupid, but they're not stupid, stupid. Just like everything has some kind of common sense. And too much things just not adding up. Just not adding up. And I think that even the newspaper is rebelling in their own way. Or maybe they're getting the freedom to rebel because then again, as much money from the government. Because they have been running this thing in the paper that I was ignoring for weeks because I thought it was an ad. But then it occurred to me that it's not election time and what ad will this be? So I actually took the time to read it. And it goes on to say that if the government turns towards blaming the opposition for faults in the system while they are governing, I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the exact words and I thought I wrote it down, but I can't find it. No, that's not it. So I can't find it. But that's what it said. If it is the government had to blame the opposition for shit that happening, then the government is at fault. Clearly, they're incapable of leading. Apparently, Rowley said that when he was in opposition, and I was like, damn, okay, because I mean, his whole campaign was just Kamala blaming. And again, it's shit like this why people have no trust in them. You just say what the fuck you need to say to get what you want. That's not integrity. Leadership supposed to at least look like the best of humanity, for Christ's sake. Could you imagine if you go to court and the judge cussing and carrying on, or even if no, they could probably get away with it in some instances, but imagine if you go to court and one of the cases is against another judge. So this judge did a crime and they in the magistrate court now. That's not what you want. But we have cases where politicians end up being arrested. We catch them lying blatant. They caught in compromising positions and they just say it's not me. And then you have defense force people and police people also in a court case, thus making them no different from that they're supposed to be the protection or the buffer between the wrong and the good of society. So it's like, how do you expect I think the only thing of integrity at this point would be to stand up and say, hey, I did my best. This is what happened. I get scared and thing, and I didn't really care about all you, and I'll take it overboard, but as a big man, I sorry. Right? Let me look at these things and see what is what, and let me work on a plan going forward. Come, come, come. And this nastiness that does make my blood crowd. What is his name? Wade Mark. And whoever, or you come chunk says, let we sit down on the taxpayers' money, sequester ourselves in Hilton and eat and lime a business as is a meeting, and we're not going to come out until they pull everything open because we are the distress. So let we not and we wouldn't come out until we come up with something, or for a month, whichever one come first. And we could sequester ourselves in Hilton and Hyatt because the infinity pool is vibes. So I mean, let them do that, and at least people could stand behind shit like that. But you're seeing it, or at least I seeing it, that is what is going on, and they further seem to be antagonizing the government because they no longer refer to anti-cam and this haven't for a while, but I'm just now taking notice of it. They don't refer to her as the opposition leader. They refer to her as the former prime minister. So you see prime minister and then former prime minister. It's like, okie dokie, papalaps. So the next point that stood out was, oh, look at here, it right here. It's just I didn't read. Anytime a government resorts to blaming the opposition, that government has failed in its usefulness. Yeah, that is a quote. Apparently, that's what he said. I have the points numbered now, so it was literally the next one. Ugh, handwriting is a horrible thing. Gloss right over the thing and didn't see it. So the next one is the same thing with the commercial banks. No one is saying that the banks actually deferring the interest rates, just the penalties. So they wouldn't affect your credit rating and you wouldn't get past due notice, but everything else still stands. What kind of fuckery is that? Do I really need to say anything? I do. I'm not going to. These people making I don't understand how you just sleep at night or how you just look at yourself in the mirror. What moral compass do you live by to facilitate this kind of assness? It's beyond me. It's legit beyond me. And I hope never to figure that out to the point where I'm participating in it. I really do. Then the next one was that there was a International Day for Parents. Whoever coming up with these days need to stop it. You already have an International Day of the Child, and you have Universal Children's Day. You have Mother's Day, you have Father's Day. What are you actually supposed to do for the Day of the Parents now? Something about non-gender roles. So nobody just call the parents other, even if it is your mother was born male and now she identifies as a female, you still call her mother. I don't understand. That's a thing. I mean, it's a thing, and I've seen pregnant dude and all that, and it's fascinating, and I love it. I love the times that I live in. Other people are scared and Sodom and Gomorrah, but I don't give a fuck. I find it amazing that you born with a vagina, but on the inside you was a dude, and then you went and you fall in love with somebody that was born with a penis, but deep inside they know that they wanted a vagina. And I just say, but then at the end of the day, all the right with the Lord by the Lord's people, because well, it's still a natural born male and female fucking. But you just, you know, that's just amazing. And well, the father will have the uterus and the mother still had the sperm. So yeah, the father pregnant. But the point is, the bottom line, they're still identified as mom and dad. I love to meet that child in 5 years. I think that child will be so well adjusted and so open-minded that they could be like the Antichrist that we have been waiting for, that will just unite the world and all of that. Because that's some amazing shit right there. Hoping it don't have bullying and stuff, but for them to do the video, it means that they probably live in one of those progressive places. If I'm not mistaken, it was Canada. So nobody go and really bully them in Canada. Nobody gives a shit. Like Amsterdam. Like, oh, okay, your mom is like, oh, cool, awesome, yeah, high five. And that's that. Maybe you all get that way. But the point is, what's the point in the day? Why, well, we, that just as useless as Stuart Young making an announcement that they're going after illegal quarrying. But that's not your fucking work. You just wake up in the morning and proclaim that you're actually going to do something that you're supposed to do or something. I don't understand your need for it. But what I assume is that whoever's supposed to be given the bribes to do the illegal quarrying probably running low on funds right now, or they probably get out of line and they give some back chat. So what this is actually some social pressure to keep your ass in line, otherwise we will deal with you. That make more sense to me. Because I ain't see where it is you just wake up in the morning and decide to declare you're going to actually do what you're supposed to do. So, without the socials, we have already come to the end. So it was like 13 minutes, 15 minutes. So this one is a bit long, but it's too short for two. But I thank you for sharing this with me and for tuning in to this edition of Richard's Rant. Wherever you fall on the current state of affairs, please keep safe. I was never pro lockdown, but I am not do backflips and revel in Corona either. Take the precautions, wash your hand, keep yourself clean, wherever have you, but pick sense out of nonsense. Even with the fact that COVID attacks your lungs, there are already medicines all available over the fucking counter that help protect your lungs from viruses that affect your lungs. There are already courses of treatment for smokers that have damaged lungs. These things already exist. COVID is not a death sentence. It's scary. You could die, but you could die from so many other things as well. So live, love, laugh, be responsible, do your best, and have a great day. Subscribe to the vibe and comment towards our betterment. Vibes. Oh, and like Tanty say, don't choke on your Ballisier juice. Go on, Tanty, make my day. All right, I go on later.